Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to a happy Monday.
Happy Monday. We did not rehearse that ahead of time.
We did not.
We didn't.
How was your weekend? What did you do? Did you do something fun? Did you relax? Did you play? We played.
Mm-hmm.
Had fun.
Mm-hmm.
Really good time. Hi, Eileen.
Eileen, hi.
Everybody who's listening later. Hi, everyone. There's a lot of you that listen later. So I appreciate you.
There really
coming
are.
On. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, there really are.
I'm like, oh, wow. Maybe we're talking to a lot more people than we realized. So I'm grateful for everybody who listens later. And if you get something from it, write in the comments, tell us what you got from our time together, because we're just saying things that you might get something out of it that we didn't know you got. And I think that that's really fun to play with. Kenny.
Hi, Kenny.
Hello.
Hello. Maybe that's his British impression.
Yeah.
Hello. Hi, Eileen. Hi, Kenny. Let's start off the week. Monday.
Let's bust some beliefs today. What stops you?
What stops you? I love this one.
It's my favorite. Hi, Gigi.
Gigi. This question gets a person to access the internal representations they perceive as limiting them, which watch carefully for eye movements, gestures, and other nonverbal clues. For example, I can't do public speaking. What stops you? Eyes flick up, head jerks back, and then they gesture with left hand as they say, when I imagine it, something tells me people will be bored. By the time they start talking, they've already accessed the internal representations that they perceived as stopping them. How are they stopping themselves? What internal representations are they using to do this? This is a good one, and we use this with our
intake system.
our intake assessment questions when we used to qualify and interview potential hypnotherapy clients.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you, having a good intake assessment is more than half the battle to
Yep.
Making sure you're going to have a great experience with your client.
Yes, and I'm just thinking about pulling our workbook down. I'm gonna pull it.
Go ahead.
I can't get out of the way.
I'm alone. I'm new. I don't know what to do. Yeah.
Oh gosh, that's funny. Oh god. Oh, you got to see the setup we got going on back here. It's pretty intense. Okay, so when you sign up for our training with
when you sign up,
Schaefer Institute of Hypnosis, you get this book in your packet of books. Your stack of textbooks that you get that come along.
We send you like 6, 7
textbooks. Seven books. Yep, 7 books. One big main textbook, and the rest are supplementary books specifically on selling and filling your schedules and all that kind of stuff, so you can become a really awesome hypnotherapist. But this is one of the books. All right, and inside is essentially our intake system that will, and these are the questions that you ask, and there are a bunch of these worksheets in there. And then you also have on the other side of that sheet, there is, kind of what happens after your first session, so that you can get a sense of, what your next, what your protocol is going to be for them, what is going to be the, kind of package that you're going to want to set up for them, your recommendations for them, that kind of thing. We're taking a different, using the system, lost all my breath.
No, you're catching it.
Let me breathe all the way out, because I'm breathing in, right? Before we started doing this, basically people would come in for a quick session, and then they would leave.
Can you help me with nail biting?
Yeah, right. And they would leave. And they wouldn't get any help really. They would just kind of get this, glazed over kind of, a little bit of symptom relief type of deal. And it really wasn't helpful for them.
I remember that. Yeah.
I mean, it really wasn't helpful for them. We've had people, we were also training people, and some of the things that we would hear people say were like, well, it's probably a one and done. And as much as I love people and having that hopeful mindset that things will shift for them that quickly, it's just not how it works. And I've also been researching, as we've been teaching and things like that. I always want to get different perspectives from different teachers. And some of the things that I've been seeing from other hypnotherapy teachers has been where they make it seem very magical, like suddenly, because this person that knows hypnotherapy really well, all of a sudden, boop, they feel 100% better, and look at doing that process made them feel 100% better. Well, it does make them feel better, but there is a deeper underlying thing going on, and we would be remiss to not acknowledge that at minimum. And so the system that we teach you in our course actually helps you to get super clear about what it is that they're wanting to change, what it is they're wanting to shift, why they want to shift it, and what's stopping them from shifting it. And that's where that question comes in. And when you get a clue of their representational systems, there were times where, like the card said, they're moving their hands, they're flicking their eyes up, and they're looking around. They're trying to find the answer. But once they settle on it, they find a spot in their vision, even though they're seeing or feeling or experiencing internally what's going on. If you point to that, if you go, what is that? They'll go, it just doesn't feel good. And then you've got a really clear understanding of what's going on with them. So that's some of the teaching part that we do teach in the class, in the course, and how to recognize that. And what to do about it. Once you got it, what do you do with it? And how do you shift it? And that's something that is so cool and so fun to play with your clients with, and also have a good system to help them to clear their issues out completely. Well, hopefully completely.
Right? Well said. Yeah, with the vast majority of holistic certifications, even the really big schools, I do not know. I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but I do not know if I don't think it's a standard to be taught how to do business stuff with a alternative holistic certification. Maybe you can find some pockets of places that might do some stuff or here and there, but in my experience, generally, if you get a certification, it's just a certification and that's it.
Yeah, there's no sales system at all.
Oh no, of course
not.
It's
so frustrating.
Like maybe you might get a little bit of training on maybe how to do an intake, maybe with people, but certainly no sales training. No, I've never seen that. So I mean, we had to devise our own systems so that we could help people and give them the type of help that they needed and wanted, and to have an intake system that helps you to properly qualify a client it means the world in terms of what I mean. You're going to know whether or not you should be working with that client. You're going to know
it's a big piece.
That's huge, right? Who wants to deal with any kind of issues that come from working with a client you shouldn't be working with? Either they're not ready or
they have some underlying issues that you're not supposed to be working with. Yeah.
So creating that intake system was crucial, because we with hypnotherapy, thankfully everybody knows what hypnosis. They know about hypnosis, but they don't actually know what it is. They just know about that it's a thing, So
they've heard the word before.
So thankfully that creates enough of a draw to get people into the door, right? there is some kind of a mass appeal if it's curiosity at minimum. You're not going to get that with some of the lesser known modalities that might be newer or just don't have a history of mass appeal. But hypnosis, you can at least get people in the door with their curiosity, because some of them are going to think, oh, maybe I can get a quick fix here. Can I get some instant gratification here? Maybe. And so they come in, and if you can provide them a quick fix, great. That's not what we did, but no. that's how we started, until we started to work on at first you kind of offer everything, because you want to make money, and you need to make money, especially if you have overhead with the practice kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But in time, and this is a slow process, not an overnight process, in time we started weaning down, narrowing our focus. So to do the things that we wanted to do and that we thought people were getting the most benefit from. And you will find that people, energy follows passion. So if you do the things that you really like, energy will follow that. Energy will follow you to feel energized to do those things, and energy will come to you to support that passion. Then that means clients and money. So in the long term, that is a good thing to remember. Because as soon as that passion goes away, which many years later it did for me, then the client flow also slowed down when I knew I didn't want to do hypnotherapy anymore. So it really does matter what kind of energy you bring to the table, and that you're doing things that you want to be doing. And then devising systems there's a lot of flexibility with hypnotherapy. There's a lot of things you can do. And there's you can make treatment plans and all kinds of cool stuff. And you'll find that certain issues that people come in for, you're going to start to see trends and on the type of progress people make over a certain amount of time with the given issue. Mm-hmm. It's not perfectly cut and dry in every scenario, but you're going to start to see patterns, and then you adapt and adopt in your business to accommodate those things, mm-hmm. thereby making your job easier. So I guess long story short, intake assessments are very important. I've done intakes with a lot of people with their business, holistic businesses, and they were not hypnotherapists like other things, and they were just not. They weren't done. It was more of a let's get to know you kind of thing, mm-hmm. and it didn't matter. There wasn't really an end result, or the type of information they were gathering was minimally effective, and it kind of helpful. It mostly was, I think they were trying to see if they could get comfortable, but I think the main thing is there is information you have to figure out to find out, should I be working with this person, or should I not, or should I be referring them elsewhere, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So having that information is important.
The other part of it is that you're going to already start working with them on their issues right away. It's not going to be, you're not coaching them. You're not working with them necessarily. You're not doing a session for them, but our intake system is based off of the outcome model from neurolinguistic programming to help start drilling down on the particular issue they have. When they start experiencing it and seeing it in their mind or imagining it differently, then the process has already started. So whether you decide that you want to work with your client or not, or work with that particular person or not, doesn't matter. They've already gotten value from you. Not only that, but if you're like Todd and I, when we think about being energetically with someone and just consciously wanting to be a helpmate for that person, just spending time with somebody can be very helpful as well, because most people don't have anyone in their life that will just listen. Without judgment or without trying to make them be different immediately. And in some cases, some people were sent to us by their significant other or family member or whatever, saying, they have a problem, you need to fix them. And what we would often find in those situations were that the person coming to us was forced to be there and did not want to be there, didn't want to change.
That didn't work out.
Did not work out. And and that what would happen sometimes was that we would help clear up the fact that somebody was really taking their choice away, which wasn't very loving. So there was some of that at the most extreme degrees, but doing this type of system helped to create a connection, create a hopeful experience for the client, start to help them get into resourceful states. And then also it would help us get to know, do we want to work with this person, and are we the right person to work with them?
Yeah.
It's and I guess I don't know why we followed this path. Maybe the what stops you instigated it.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's just a icebreaker to help us go down any kind of road that we can provide value, and I think it's working.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, we had the privilege and the luck to start out with from your networking efforts, which is part of our business marketing strategy that we do teach you in our certification program, included with your tuition.
Yeah.
That was a huge part of it. Also, we were fortunate enough to get started with Groupon, and we had a lot of people coming in who were curious about hypnotherapy.
Yeah.
And after a while, we had done enough of those coupons to find out that
this doesn't work.
What
we're doing does not work.
It was a revolving door business at first.
Yes, it really was.
Kara, we're seeing all these people. We need to change something. We got to dig our heels in here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when we decided to come up with an outcome model, which is now our gold etched in gold, bronze etched intake assessment thing that we've refined over months and years.
Right.
Then we've taught other people.
Major. I'm just trying to figure out who it was that made this comment. Hi, thank you for these talks. I can't stay for long, but I'll come back to you later. Hi, hello. Facebook friend.
Thank you, Facebook friend.
Thanks for saying hi. And also too, guys, if you see this post, you can just click on the thing that says, do you want them to see who you are? You just click that link really quick, and you'll it doesn't ask you for any personal information or anything like that. But then we can see you, and then we can acknowledge that you're here. We've got some other people that I just saw, like Debbie's watching, Carol's watching. Hi guys. Nice to see you.
I go into since I've been a business owner with our old hypnotherapy clinic, I've paid really close attention to people's systems, whenever I go into a doctor's office or a dentist's office or anything like that. And
yes,
I pay attention to, and these are oftentimes they were solopreneurs, hanging out their own shingle, their own practice. And some of them did things very, very well. Other times they did them very poorly. And, if they were open to it, I would make a mention like, hey, you know what, if you did this, this would happen. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I didn't even think of that. I mean,
here, let me help you sell to me better.
Right. Well, particularly if I thought they did a good job, and obviously you would want to vet whoever you're going to before you even get there, through their online presence and such, which was the case.
I'd also say that, with the course, you'll never be lied to again. You'll never be manipulated again.
No.
That is something that really goes away with hypnosis training. And not to say that you won't be susceptible to it or whatever, where you go, ooh, but most of the time, either right away and you go, yeah, I just need that thing. I need that thing, and that was cute that they did it that way, but I just need that thing. But mostly you're like, oh, I see what you're doing there, and that was a cool benefit that I received when I first started doing hypnosis, because I was very suggestible. I still am. So I would be a little bit more of a victim to different types of advertising and stuff. And once I realized what was happening, I was like, oh, oh my gosh, okay, I got my control back. So that was one of the really great benefits of it. I pulled another card. Change a disempowering word to something more useful. So this is a really good card too. Extreme language such as nightmare, emergency, disaster can put people in an unresourceful state, but you can tone down the language to elicit a more useful response. The website's gone down. It's a total disaster. No, Chernobyl was a disaster. This is a minor inconvenience. Of course, it's important that you still acknowledge the reality of the situation. We're running late. This is an absolute nightmare. I'll call ahead to let them know we've had a bit of a hiccup and we'll be a few minutes late. So that one is good. You know, it's
about like reframing things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's so powerful. And yeah. And you know, when I do these NLP cards, we have like 8 decks, and I read one a day just myself before we even started doing these videos. And it just reminds me of the importance of saying things in the best way that you can, you know, because words are like objects. You know, lawyers go through this kind of training. You can take free courses on Coursera.org and learn all about this kind of thing, like understanding argument and things like that, which is not how to argue. It's presenting it's using the right words and presenting things appropriately and not being in behavior, of course. And, you know, just the other day I wrote down, you know, I can't do this, blah, 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 da, 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 da. And I was like, let's say that differently. Who am I talking to? How would they interpret this? Here's what I can do is how I rewrote that, you know? Mm-hmm. So, you know, turn your negatives, even if you're trying to say something positive with your negative statement. Oh, there's no way I would do that because blah, 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 blah. No, here's what I would do, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, if there's a warning, great, but you don't have to start with a negative. You don't need to call people's attention to what they need to fear or avoid, because then you start triggering those faculties in their mind. So that's why you start with using your words and speech to lead people down the path that you want them to be on, and avoid anything you don't want their attention to be on. Remember, from our early episodes, the subconscious mind doesn't understand the word don't. So if there's something you don't want them to focus on, there's no way to avoid having them focusing on it by saying don't.
Don't think of a pink elephant.
Instead say what you do want them to focus on. And that's just guidance. There's nothing wrong about doing that. You know, it's just putting people in a position to win.
Yeah, that piece. And I certainly have done this myself. I'm like, oh, it's a nightmare, you know, and is it, you know, is it absolutely a nightmare? Have I had worse nightmares than whatever pretty benign thing is happening right now? Yeah. But that turn of phrase or that, you know, thing is, in one way is to help people to kind of go, I'm really feeling feelings right now about this particular situation. But the truth is that you're not feeling that strong of feelings about it. And if you are, then it's important to start to look at why is that thing so affecting your, you know, causing you to go into a reaction spiral instead of just going, well, look at that. Isn't that a hell of a thing? Like Todd says, isn't that a hell of a thing? Instead of going off the deep end. And I think that over dramatic thing is it's fun, you know, it's chaotic. It's, ooh, you know, something's happening right now and nothing has been happening. So let's have this really big thing happen. And it's like,
depending on how much you have controlled and sedated your emotions or how, you know, suppressed they've been. Sometimes I can say this for myself. All right. Cause I grew up that way. Emotional expression wasn't really,
over the top, necessary,
encouraged,
life, yeah.
and then when it was through anger. So I learned that anger is how you get you get heard if you're upset, or control. And that wasn't anything I was taught. That was just something that I learned by watching.
Mine was volume.
Yeah.
The louder you get, the more possibility.
The point there is that if someone's not used to expressing constructively, then any way it comes out at first is going to be the way it comes out. It's going to be messy at first. And that's okay. People are not experts at expressing their emotions or doing so using real love language. If the first few times you access those emotions, it's going to come out with like there was cobwebs in that part of the brain because they've been pushing it down for so long. So, counselors know this, they're trained about this kind of thing. So giving people room to express and to be in their diapers if necessary, because that can be the case at first. And then after you kind of lube the water slide, as it were, so those emotions can come out, if you're giving them a safe space to express and whatnot, then you can begin kind of giving them tools to once you assess that they're in that place of readiness, you can give them tools for taking responsibility for those expressions.
Yeah, I definitely think that I've not made mistakes, certainly not necessarily made mistakes, but wanted people to see their limiting beliefs a little bit too early. I've definitely fallen into that trap, and it's not that anything bad necessarily has come from that. As a matter of fact, usually it worked out perfectly. I usually allow myself to be led when I was working with clients, to just say, okay, this seems right. The next right question, or the next right potential path. And I've also moved too fast. And so you got to decide for yourself how fast your client is going to be able to handle what's going on. And sometimes that first intake piece is so valuable to just let them express without doing any coaching, without helping them see anything, without changing them or their mindsets about anything.
Yeah. So long as you remember not to coach on the intake.
Right, because that can get a little hairy too.
Some people get confused, especially if they're not prone to listening or following directions, and they'll think that as soon as you get in there for that intake assessment, even if you told them what it's for, and they'll start going and going and going, right, thinking that this is their appointment for doing that. It's like, sure. No, it's not that.
We're qualifying the
right. But some people like to go into story a little bit, and I used to give them a few minutes to do so. That's right. But not the whole time.
No. That I think I made a lot of those kinds of mistakes early on.
Because some people,
and before I had the assistant.
For sure, before the system. That's how you identify you need the system. It's like, because sometimes people can go into story and you can gather information. Mm-hmm. That's helpful for you as the hypnotherapist. And other times people can go into story, telling their background and such, and they're just perpetuating drama. And you're not getting a damn thing. You're just hearing the ego go down a rat hole. Mm-hmm. So that's not productive. It's not a productive use of time. So you want to give them a chance to share their story if they want to, within a minimal time limit, just so that they can drop anchor and be heard. And then you continue with your questions, and giving only a certain amount of time to even answer the questions, because they don't take but a few seconds to answer. Truly. Mm-hmm. It doesn't take 10 minutes to answer one question. It should take a minute or two, because you got to get through the whole intake and get all your questions answered.
Unless you're working with Kenny and you know him very, very well, and you just want to hear everything that he wants to say about each question. And I'm saying that because this is on with our students, and there is an example in the background, or in our training. So I just want to clarify that for our students.
Would be a good, if you hadn't done it on that training, because the major context here is, if you are running a practice, a clinic, if you're seeing clients, you've got to stay on time. And so you need a system that's going to not be 90 minutes per
because
client.
then that's essentially that goes into coaching, and that will.
For teaching purposes, you had done it differently for Kenny.
I wanted to unfold the whole thing, and I wanted to kind of give an example of doing a full intake and a full session, essentially, what it would kind of look like overall. But it's just so fascinating to me,
it really
how what a difference this makes. And when I didn't follow this system, well, this is the distinction, and this is for our students, because they're seeing this, is that if I don't want to make a sale, I don't follow the system. Pure and simple. If I don't want to make a sale, I just don't follow the system that we have researched and followed through and failed and succeeded at, and done it right and done it wrong, and all those kinds of things. If I don't want to make a sale, I don't have to say, I'm not taking you on as a client. I don't even have to say that. I just don't follow the system. And then they don't buy. And our system initially, the initial system was based off of a chiropractic system. Because here's the thing with chiropractic is that people don't know what they need. And once they start to feel a little bit of relief, then they'll stop coming. And the chiropractic system is that same way. Hypnotherapy is a quick relief. Chiropractic is a quick relief. But if you don't continue to train the spine and train the body,
right,
the muscles won't adjust, and they'll pull the body back out of alignment, and the pain will be there again. Same thing with hypnosis. The mind will snap back into those old patterns because it's comfortable. It's been rehearsed. It's been dedicated to that particular way of thinking and being for years and years and years. So it's important that we do create plans for our clients to help them to readjust, so that everything, all of those brain muscles, all those neural pathways completely shift. It's kind of like if you dig a trench and you just do it very lightly, well, that signal is going to keep moving through. It just will be a little bit duller at first. But if you keep digging a good trench, then that signal won't pop out anywhere else. So
that's the analogy I used to use with my clients. In fact, was I would say, I'm just digging the trench, and then it's your job to pour the water through it and show up and flow. I'm showing you where to go, but you're the one who's flowing in that direction. And I think the best way to do that, considering there's so much conditioning, like you said, is that clients need to be taking responsibility and accountability, and you got to be giving them homework, and they need to be reporting on what's happening in their lives in between sessions, for example, because hypnosis is not just what happens in the office. It's what happens. How are you responding to the new conditioning we're introducing to you when you're outside of the office? And that tells me about your willpower. And that tells me about your commitment, and which, if you've done your intake correctly, you know what that commitment is before you start into the hypnosis and such.
Yep.
So, and that can be very empowering for the clients who do want change, and it can ward off those who don't want change, which is good, because you do want to be, I guess, polarizing a little bit there. You don't want to hide the fact that you're doing work. You're going to do work to do this stuff. It is a two-way street. It's not me doing something to you and you just do the same thing,
which is a common misconception because of stage hypnosis. Stage hypnotists, and then some trainers out there that I've seen that I do love. I love them, and I think that they have a lot of value. It makes it appear as though it's just, you're done. You fixed that problem. Congratulations.
If people don't, no matter what your modality is, if your clients don't own their change, you might as well be fortune telling.
Right.
Because it means,
and there's nothing wrong with fortune tellers. We love fortune tellers.
Well, what I mean is, there's probably a constructive and a non-constructive way to do fortune telling. But I think the main thing I'm trying to say is that, people are used to going to say a fortune teller, for example, because they hope that they're going to get some information without needing to do anything. And just remain in, it's like playing the lottery kind of thing. I hope this is going to happen, but I'm not going to do anything to make it happen.
Right.
But so becoming reliant on someone else for guidance is disempowerment at its best, I guess. Yeah. But if you have someone who is a great fortune teller, maybe they give empowering advice, or here's what you could be doing. Anything can be used by the Holy Spirit as a tool for empowerment. So it's thank you for correcting me. There's no judgment. It's just a matter of, well, how are you using it? What do you think about that? And how can you step in? But inviting the client to take steps helps to own their change.
Yeah.
Period.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's resourceful ways of using that beautiful flow of energy that I think people harness so well when they do, different types of psychic work and spiritual work and, intuitive card readings and pendulums and all that kind of stuff. I think that they have
and all the ones, all the ones I've seen who do intuitive readings, things like that, have been really good folks who want to be empowering and such.
Just so, I mean, I think of Sunny Dawn. She's absolutely incredible. And she can tell you your whole life, probably from beginning to end. She can read it. She can talk to the angels for you. She can do all of this stuff. But what I have found, what she does really, really well is when I've watched her workshops at Celebrate Your Life, and she's just really helping you to hone in on your own ability to connect with that small soul voice and be seen and be loved. And I've seen some of her exercises. They're phenomenal. They've made me just cry my eyes out. And that, to me, it goes beyond that charlatan status, that white magic kind of thing. And so if you are an intuitive reader, you're psychic, or you do energy work or Reiki or whatever, there are good ways to do it. And there are ways that are just very novelty. And so, to me, novelty can be fun.
Smarmy.
Yeah. Novelty can be fun, but I think going even deeper is, it's empowering. It empowers the student and empowers the person coming to you.
I think I can wrap this up really nicely, or weave a new point in. And it doesn't involve making anything wrong. It's kind of like if the ego is in a getting behavior, then you're going to see more of the types of clients who are wanting to get something without taking ownership and responsibility. Or if you're a fortune teller trying to get something, then it might be less empowering advice. So I think it's about isolating where that ego is. What is it up to? Is it ego doesn't consider itself. It doesn't want to. So the more we push any kind of accountability away from ourselves, the more we're going to be incessantly in those getting behaviors. And that's when we and protecting behaviors. And that's when we are drawn to the types of experiences which put us in a us versus them mentality, subject object orientation. Mm-hmm. What do I have to gain? What do I have to lose type of mentality? And just, it can be a cold way of navigating.
Yeah.
But with an attitude of I'm willing, an attitude of willingness. Mm-hmm. I'm willing to learn something new about myself or other people. That could be a game changer. Mm-hmm. When we're not empty, when we're not getting and protecting, we're truly in a position to learn, and the Holy Spirit uses everything. Yeah. And things can, how can I see this differently? Yeah. That's how that can change anything, even in the midst of
the
something
pain of it. Yeah.
That something can be painful because the ego is producing the pain.
Mm. Yeah. Gigi says, I love Sunny. Yeah. Yep. Gigi was at CYL and we were in there with Sunny, and yeah, she's incredible. She's an incredible person. She's so promoting of people's self-healing and self-care. So just give her a little shout out. Sunny Dunn Johnston, you can look her up with SDJ Productions, I think. She's great. Okay, so we do have to wrap up because I do have a meeting here in just a little bit, just a couple of minutes. Does anybody have anything, comments, questions, answers?
I will also add, if anyone's typing, go for it, that we need holistic alternative practitioners making a good living with their businesses.
Yes.
Initially they start out just wanting to help people, but then you compound the fact that nobody teaches them how to own a business unless it's a business coach, usually. But I think the schools should be teaching a little bit about how to be successful without having to get a business degree, for crying out loud.
They have a lot of schools have like a little section,
a career center.
Yeah, they have a little section around business, but
That's not the same as comprehensive training.
No, and there's
designed for your craft.
And we're not just trying to, sell programs here. Although, sure, yeah, come on,
we are trying. We are
therapyschool.net. Go ahead.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's our differentiator. And the reason why it's so important of a differentiator is because why are you doing it? If you don't want to make money at it, or if you don't want to, if you don't want to have a business or a clinic or be able to expand your practice or be able to reach more people, there has been this fallacy that has, I hope I said that right, this limiting belief that says, oh, well, this is God-given, so I'm just going to give it for free. There has to be an energy exchange. And the reason why is because almost anytime I've ever given anything away for free, almost anytime, I have experienced the disappointment of that person not following through. No skin in the game. Because we also did things where we could do we'll give a free session a month to somebody who needs it. Or, we've done those kinds of things just to have a give back kind of
tithe.
I think I did 2 sessions a month or something. They never followed through. They would either not show up or they would, and so it's not.
Well, when someone's showing up to do anything and they don't have the money, yeah, you can play with the tithe or don't tithe or whatever, or discount or whatever. But all you really need to know is that the money is what they're energetically allowing and how they're letting energy serve them. And if they're out doing something without letting themselves be served by energy, well, then there's a fair chance, I would guess, there's a fair chance they're not going to follow through. Mm-hmm. But if somebody does see the value in it, they will find the money.
That's the most amazing thing that I've ever seen, was that somebody will come to me and they'll be like, I don't know, I haven't had the money. I don't have the money. And I'll go, okay, well, come back when you do.
And that's usually the best response.
Almost the next week.
Right.
They're like, oh my gosh, you will not believe what just happened. And I'm like, sweet. Abundance serves you. Energy serves you.
You are a creator.
Yeah.
There's nothing that can stop you from creating what you want to have what you need when you need it.
You got it. You got it.
And the ego's going to balk. And if they don't really mean it, you won't hear from them again. That's okay. No. And if they do, let money does talk. Let the money do it. Don't sacrifice your boundaries because that just lowers you down to the victim level with the person who's wanting you to do that. Instead, hold your space, hold your value, your worth, your boundaries, and ask them to step up. That's what prices should do. They should naturally qualify people through their own belief system to prioritize working with you. And when they manifest that money to do so, you are doing a service for you and for them.
Very good. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you.
We so do.
I did this a little bit of a higher resolution, so hopefully this video looks a little bit nicer. And we will talk to you all again tomorrow. Take care. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.